What's up, nerds? We're your hosts this week. I'm Jake.
I am Chad.
This week we're sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We're
I don't
also
know why I said
sponsored by Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce. I was going to mimic the way you said it just to make fun of you, but then you made fun of yourself before I could do it.
So this week we'll be talking more about She-Hulk on Disney Plus with episode 2. Jake.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I was moving my chair and I thought you were gonna. Anyways, we will also be talking about House of the Dragon, now streaming on not Disney Plus, it's HBO Max. Um, yeah, it's really good. Second episode, we'll get into that. But before we get into that, let's get into this. This is the All Things Nerd podcast.
Nerd. Welcome back, nerds, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. Jake, you jerk. How was your week?
My week was good. I went to Orlando, Florida to visit some family, and while I was there, although it was briefly spent, I didn't grab it before the thing. I'm gonna grab it. Briefly spent. I went to what do you call it?
Universal Studios, by the sounds of it.
Universal Studios. Coming back. Coming back. Coming back.
This is
All right,
why
here we
you
go.
guys should like, subscribe, and watch this on YouTube.
Yes, my cousin and I went to Universal Studios. We did not get to spend a ton of time there. But I'll tell you, the place is fucking rad. And it's huge. You literally, if you go online, they sell you like weekend packages. You literally need a weekend to see everything that this place has to offer. It's insane. We walked around for about 4 hours and we only saw a fraction of it. But we did find Diagon Alley, which is a secret. They don't tell you where it is. You have to find it. And we
Yeah.
found it. And I got a wand.
Oh,
Actually, I got two wands. I got myself the Elder Wand.
because
And
he's
then-
an elderly.
And then I also got my girlfriend a wand, which is also pretty cool, in my opinion. But it's really cool because these wands interact with shit in Diagon Alley. Like, if you do, they give you like a map of where stuff is, and you have to follow the map and like wave your wand. And
Oh no, you froze. Jake.
what? Did I freeze?
Yeah, you froze. So
No!
you go around with the map, and then you wave your wand at certain stuff, and then what happens?
And then stuff in the park like interacts with your wand. Like water fountains will spurt water out. Giant feathers will float into the air. Like, it's crazy. It's cool. I didn't
That
get
is
to
really
do a
cool.
ton of it because I don't know. I'm an adult, and the person I was with, I don't know if he would have been as nerdy about it as me if I ran around waving my wand at shit.
I mean, he is a giant nerd, and
He is. I just don't know
if Harry Potter is his thing.
Hey, he loves Harry Potter. I just don't know if he would be as into like, let's run around and like fucking
Wave our wands in
yeah.
public.
But
That's
plus we were on a time crunch. You know, we only had so much time. But anyways, point being, the place is fucking rad. I got a wand, super dope. I can't wait to go back. Probably with my girlfriend, who will be a dork with me, and wave our wands at shit. Yeah.
Perfect.
How about you, Chadley?
Well, so this weekend I had some friends come up and visit me, which was cool. Hadn't seen them since I moved in.
Mhm.
So it was fun. We hung out. We went to this sports bar that's just a couple miles down the road. It's got a bunch of like pool tables, so we went and played pool, played games, stuff like that. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and no one threw up on my carpet this week.
I was
so.
just gonna ask, was there any vomit involved?
What One person did vomit, but into the toilet. So, and it
Yeah,
was
was it
not
you?
me. No.
Ah, damn it. Was it the same person as last time?
Yep.
Right on.
She knows who she
She's
is.
I was like, she's good at that.
When because it's her and her boyfriend that come and visit, and we just mock her incessantly about it. Like she's like, "Oh, I'm feeling kind of drunk." I was like, "Well, there's the carpet." Stuff like that. It's funny.
You should just get like a like the old school like cat litter boxes,
Yeah.
like the plastic, and then just cut out a piece of carpet and put it in the cat box, and then be like, hey, if you're gonna throw up on the carpet, please do it there.
In the designated carpet throw up box.
Yeah, and just put like her name on it.
That would be hilarious.
Anyways,
There is some nerd news also before we get into our first sponsor. Well, first, D23 is coming up in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. The 9th through the 11th. In California, it's the big Disney thing. So we should be getting more Marvel news and probably the actual trailers that were released at Comic-Con or shown at Comic-Con. So
yeah.
that's something to look forward to. There's rumors going around that Penn Badgley from the TV show You, he plays Joe on the show, is being kind of set to be Mr. Fantastic for
Which
the Fantastic
was-
Four.
Yeah. So we saw John Krasinski in Doctor Strange 2. That was just kind of to appease the fans, but the actual going forward, it looks like Penn Badgley will be our Mr. Fantastic.
And I like it. He looks the role, and he can also kind of like play that sociopathic, like is 10 steps ahead of everyone, but doesn't know how to like interact in a room full of people.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
cocky and sarcastic.
probably more famously known from Gossip Girl.
Oh yeah, as
Yeah.
the Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert if you guys never finished that show from 15 years ago.
Never started it, but I know but I think you told me that
Yeah.
he was the Gossip Girl. Like he was the one
Yeah.
writing the whole time, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Pissed off my ex at the time because she wanted me to watch it, and after like 3 episodes, I was like, "He's Gossip Girl, isn't he?" And she's like, "Did you look it up?" I was like, "No, but it's kind of obvious."
Yeah. Anyways,
Also, some DC rumors that are actually good. Take it away, Jake.
potentially these are rumors, nothing set in stone right now, but from what we've read and been seeing online is that thank the gods that Ezra Miller just sucks dicks at being a person.
Yeah, it's just a
Henry-
train wreck
Henry-
of a human.
Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck are being brought back as obviously Man of Steel and aka Superman, and Batman, aka The Dark Knight,
AKA Bruce Wayne.
aka Winnie the Bish.
I'm glad that you finished it because that was exactly where my mind went.
Anyways,
To
if
kind
you know,
of
you
be
know.
the front and
If-
center of
Yeah,
the DC.
which is the way it fucking should be and
Yeah.
should have been since Man of Steel came out fucking 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Ugh. Warner Bros.
Technically,
Anyways.
Henry Cavill is still in negotiations, but he's also filmed a scene for Black Adam, supposedly.
But here's the like double-edged sword of it is Black Adam tested so poorly that the last movie that tested as poorly as Black Adam, they fucking canceled it. Batgirl.
Yeah.
And Ezra Miller, who is a piece of fucking shit, his movie for The Flash tested so high that the last movie that tested as well as it did in the screen testing was The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Like
So it's like,
Christian
God
Bale. Yeah.
fucking damn it. God fucking damn it.
But at
So-
least we can rely on the fact that Ezra Miller is just a piece of work, and they do not know how to interact in society.
Yeah.
Supposedly they're gonna get some help, which
Yeah.
good.
Whatever. Yeah.
Hopefully it works.
Lock them up.
Yeah.
That's the help.
Yeah. There was multiple counts of assault.
Yeah, it's not just like a isolated incident. This dude is off the rails.
Yeah, they
him
got
and
arrested.
Him and Amber Heard go bowling together, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ezra Miller, they got arrested, like 4 times in 2 weeks in the same state, and then went on the run and got arrested like 3 or 4 more times. Like, it's
and
not
like
good.
Also got like
accused of grooming children,
like soliciting minors. Yeah, like nothing happened, but solicitation is, fuck them at that point. Like not the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck the person doing it.
Yeah.
Throw them in jail.
Yeah.
Worded that poorly.
Yeah. I was following your train of thought, and I'm glad that you dug yourself out, so I didn't have to. Let's get on to sponsor number 1, because we do have a couple of things to talk about for actual releases this week. So we are sponsored by Raise Energy Drinks, as you guys know. Fantastic energy drink. 0 sugar, 0 calories, 0 crash. So much more than just energy drinks if that's not your thing. Listen up, check them out, learn how to save 15%. We'll be right back with you to talk about She-Hulk. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with 0 crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
All right, nerds. We are going to talk about episode 2. I couldn't remember if it was 2 or 3. Episode 2 of She-Hulk. Again, streaming on Disney Plus, and the show so far has been incredible.
Yeah. Incredible She-Hulk.
We will say
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, and we told you that we would keep you updated. There have been no Daredevil sightings as of now.
I'm glad you used the word sightings. That's what I wanted you to say. Yep, still no Daredevil. Still no Matthew Murdock.
No Charlie Cox.
I sent it to you. This is a little off topic, but it's about Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
I sent you a video. I thought it was funny because he's like, when he's in character, as he's like reaching for stuff, like he just like knows where it is because that's his ability. And he's like, it takes him like so many different takes when filming because he'll like miss the thing he's reaching for because it's like to the side of his like peripheral vision and stuff like that. And I just thought it was funny.
It was fun.
You just said it was dumb. It
was dumb. It was a dumb video.
Like I didn't think it was funny. I just thought it was cool. Like,
no, I'm just giving you shit.
You're just a dick. It's fine. Whatever. Move on. So at the end of the first episode, she turns into the She-Hulk in the courtroom, saves a bunch of people, and because of that, her court case was thrown out because now the jury was no longer unbiased because she saved their lives. And because of that, she got fired.
Hmm.
Dumb. Just
Happened.
so dumb.
But she gets offered a new job by the attorneys that had her case thrown out.
Yeah.
And the first order of business is they want her to defend Abomination, who was
Yeah.
the bad guy in The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton,
Yeah.
the better looking Hulk in my opinion.
I
But
think as CGI for the Hulk, yes, I really like Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. We've been over this countless times.
I know,
I
I
know
know.
you think that Mark Ruffalo is just very vanilla, but I
Well,
think
the
that's kind of the
I
point.
whatever. Yeah. Anyways, um, they are making a lot of people have made the argument that the Incredible Hulk was not canon. It is because the main bad guy from that movie is now in this show, was in Shang-Chi, and they bring up Shang-Chi in this. We'll get to that. That's kind of at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Um, but Eli Roth, not Eli Roth, Tim Roth,
Tim Roth
Tim Roth,
plays
uh,
Emil Blonsky,
yeah,
kind of
who
like Eli, but
is Abomination. Yeah.
Abomination. Yeah.
So he's reprised his role, and her first, like I said, order of business is to defend him in court. This is a conflict of interest for her because he tried to kill her cousin.
Yeah. And before we get a little bit further into that, um, one of the stipulations of her taking this job
Oh yeah.
is that she has to be She-Hulk at work. She can't just be
Hmm.
Jennifer
Hmm.
Walters. She has to be in Hulk form while at work,
Yeah.
on assignment, and in court.
I think they very much like play into that because like she shows up very professional and ready to go on her first day as Jennifer Walters, and the dickhead who like hired her is like, Hulk
Yeah.
it up. And she's like, "What do you mean?"
And
And he's like,
it's
"Oh, you're gonna be representing as She-Hulk. You can't be you."
yeah. Uh, oh, I forgot to look it up. It's something. The law firm is actually a very famous law firm within the Marvel comics because they represent a lot of super powered people. Not a lot of heroes though.
Yeah.
Like Matt Murdock has been on the opposite end of them countless times. I mean, they did. They tried to sue Peter Parker in the comics, and Spider-Man, and all of these
Which
things. So
which has been our theory since we started this show, or like heard about it coming out, is that we think that Matt Murdock will be opposing Jennifer Walters in court.
yeah,
Yeah.
at some point,
Yeah.
um, which is, I mean, it's not 100% confirmed that we'll see Matt Murdock in the courtroom, but we will see Charlie Cox as just Matt Murdock again in this show. According to IMDb, he is listed as both Matt Murdock and Daredevil in the credits.
Yeah.
Still haven't seen him yet, so we can't confirm or deny
Or
that. But, so, she gets this big fancy office. She's told that her first case is, it's basically his appeal. Emil
yeah.
Blonsky's appeal to get out of prison, saying that he's been
Hmm.
reformed. And she's like, I don't know if I can do this because this is a conflict of interest. And one of the partners at the law firm, Holloway, is like, well, Emil Blonsky already said he'll sign the waiver that, he won't hold the conflict against you. He just wants you to represent him.
Yeah. And if you don't do it, you don't have a job.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she's kind of like, fuck.
Yeah.
So she goes to see Emil Blonsky in prison as
Hmm.
She-Hulk, as like her job says she has to, and immediately they're like, "You can't come in here like that. Like, no
Yeah.
superpowers."
Yeah.
So then she's like walking around in like baggy clothes, like in this fortified prison, and we see Emil Blonsky, who's just very
Emil.
namaste. Yeah,
Yeah. He's not Abomination at the moment. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So it
Which
also leads that he can change back and
I
forth.
was gonna say because they never, at any point so far until now, have they ever shown that he can um transform like the Hulk does.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it in one of the trailers for the show, but that could have
Yeah,
just. Marvel likes to throw weird things into their trailers, so
yeah,
it's now official. He can change back and forth.
yeah.
We don't know if
Uh,
it's triggered or if it's on command like She Hulk. We have yet to find out. I'm assuming it's on command because, again,
he's very
Shang-Chi.
with it in the Incredible Hulk. He's very like in his mind. He's very there.
Yeah.
So I assume it's not triggered. I assume it's. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean with She-Hulk too, it is triggered at the same time as like she can like control it, but she does get triggered and Hulk out. So I
Yeah.
assume he's the same way. Like he can control it, but at the same time, if you piss him off, he'll probably just
Yeah, kind of like Bruce was in, like, from the Avengers. You
yeah.
know, we saw him get triggered, but then also later in the movie, he just, like, was like, oh, that's my secret, Cap. You fuck. And then, like, got.
You fuck.
Sorry, that's a callback to episode 1 of She Hulk.
Um, well, Jennifer calls Bruce, who has been her guide so far into the Hulk life, and he basically is like, "Hey, man, um, what's his name? Labansky?
Blonsky.
Emil?
Emil
Yeah,
Blonsky.
Emil. He wrote me. She's like, "Hey, I have to defend this guy. I feel kind of weird taking this job." And he's like, "Do it. Everybody deserves a second chance." This, Emil wrote me a very heartfelt letter a couple years back. Water under the bridge.
And
We
some
are good.
haikus.
Yeah, and some haikus. Yeah, he's like, "We are good." But at this same time, they do show that Hulk is in
Cruiser.
Sicarian, Sicarian.
I don't know. I don't know,
Yeah.
because I've only ever heard just Sakaar. But,
He's in a Sakaar spaceship and he is in space. He is
yeah,
no longer on Earth, and we
they
don't
call it
know
a
where
Commodore Cruiser from Sakaar.
yeah, we do not know where he's fucking off to, but we believe it would be to Sakaar to film
World War
World
Hulk!
World War Hulk. Hopefully,
And
we'll
Planet
see.
Hulk.
Yeah, we'll see what
They could
happens.
kind of connect them.
Yeah,
Sorry
but
if you
yeah,
heard
so he
barking in the
is
background and me just, like, aggressively snapping my fingers.
no. So he is no longer on Earth, and I'm assuming no longer in the picture for the rest of the series. I think he was just kind of
Yeah.
there as a stepping off point for her,
Kind of as an
to like,
introduction.
yeah,
Yeah. I doubt that he. If this show is going to be a multi season, which I hope it is because of how much I enjoy
yeah,
the Daredevil TV show from Netflix, how it's superhero and law, and this is like the Scrubs version of Grey's Anatomy, that sort of
yeah,
thing. Uh, I hope that there's more seasons than just the one, but we're yet to find out. But yeah, he's gone, and so she decides to take the case officially, calls her boss, Holloway, and is like, I got it. I think that I have a really good case to get him out on appeal. And then he's like, yeah, watch the news. And what does she see when she turns on the news? Jake.
she sees Abomination or Emil as Abomination
Mhm.
fighting in underground fights, which we saw in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
And it's literally the clip from Shang-Chi
Yeah.
of him fighting Wong. And so she basically is just like, well, fuck.
Yeah. What the
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
Ramones start playing in the background. And
Yeah. Yeah. Um, we also get one huge, one physically huge. Anyways,
and then also just a headcanon piece that I'll get into after that because it's not
yeah.
important, but it's there.
Why don't you do the first one? I'll do the second one.
You want me to do the big or the physically huge? Okay, the big. So
Shing shing.
ting ting. Yeah. Um, in the period of time, it's earlier in the episode where Jennifer Walters has been fired. She's kind of like looking at dumb like clickbait, like almost BuzzFeed esque articles, like 10 unorthodox ways to earn money and start over, because we see like a montage of her being denied at like multiple law firm jobs because of the fact that she is also the She-Hulk. So it's like, be a mascot at Disney, like that sort of thing. But on the side of, where there's normally more clickbait-esque articles, there's two that are there. The first one is massive, and it says, "Man with metal claws fights in bar fight," or like gets in bar fight.
Gets in a bar brawl or something like that. Yeah.
Normally, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool, that's Florida Man," but it's the metal claws, which is the first hint of Wolverine.
Wolverine. Well, this would now be our third hint at Wolverine in a very subtle. This is not so subtle. The first two were pretty subtle.
What was the first one was a deleted scene from Iron Man 1. If I'm thinking of what you're thinking of.
Yeah, and then the other one was the bar in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah, in Madrigal. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the name of the bar, but it's a place that he frequents in the comics.
Yep.
You're right.
Which I assume is the bar that James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender find him in First Class. And he's like, the two of you can fuck off.
I don't think so, because I don't know if they would have gone that far. I feel like they would have just gone like in North America. So that it doesn't matter. That shit's not canon anyways.
Typical white American to just think that everything's about America. Way to go, Chad.
I said and Canada. Wow, don't you dare.
You just call me a Jew?
Stop, Jake.
I love, if anybody doesn't know this, off camera.
They don't know this, so you need to explain this.
I love to call Chad racist, even though he's not. He's like the most sympathetic person ever. And I'm barely colored, but I love to just dig in on him.
And make me feel terrible.
It's hilarious.
Because I stumble and mutter when I speak sometimes. And when I do, he's like, "Did you just say this? You're the worst fucking person ever."
Anyways,
and that's how I know that my toaster's not waterproof.
The second big one there is the in the same article right underneath the Wolverine Easter egg, they say something along the lines of giant humanoid or whatever person sticking out of like the Atlantic Ocean or some shit like that.
It's like the truth behind the giant statue in the middle of the ocean.
Which has been an ongoing annoyance for Chad and I, is that like how the fuck, since the Eternals movie, basically you guys know if you've seen, or you friends know that if you've seen it, the Eternals at the end of it, the Celestial is coming out of the core of the planet and they stop it, but it's like halfway out, so it's like I was gonna make a gross joke, but I'll stop. It's like halfway sticking out of the water, but it's a massive, massive thing. And this is, Chad and I have both been like, how the fuck has nobody mentioned this in all the movies that have come out so far, TV shows? So this is finally our first very subtle hint at it, or nudge towards it.
Yeah. There's been projects where, like, things that have come out in the MCU where it makes sense that wouldn't be the focus. Like Spider-Man No Way Home, even though that's a big movie, it's very focused on that. Hawkeye, same sort of thing. But like
Spider-Man No Way, we've talked about this, Chadley. Spider-Man No Way Home took place at the same time that Hawkeye took place during Christmas, so it would have been, Eternals would have been after the fact.
You're right. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But also like Falcon. Well, I guess Falcon and the Winter Soldier also would have been after.
Hmm.
So, and that was like very much based on like world events. So like, why wasn't that like even brought up like in background and stuff like that? But yeah, it's been a point of contention where we're like, so does this movie exist in canon, or was it just
Yeah.
like there, like
Yeah.
what's going on? But finally, they're starting to acknowledge it, which is awesome.
Finally. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is just like a head canon for me because on that same web page, there's a tab at the top of the web page that says, "Where's Ant Man?" And as we know, like Scott Lang has like a podcast and he's been doing like book tours and all this stuff. Kind of capitalizing on the fact that like he was a part of the Avengers for the end game battle.
Yeah.
And so there's a tab that just says "Where's Ant Man," and there's no context to it. So in my head, it's like a real life "Where's Waldo," and you have to find Ant Man in the picture. That's what I'm hoping. It's kind of like Wordle meets uh, "Where's Waldo," but with Ant Man. So it's like a
I
daily
kind
picture.
I kind of imagine, and actually, I recently watched Nowhere Home again, and I kind of imagine now that after the events of Endgame, they're they the Avengers are not necessary. Basically,
Yeah.
there's no Avengers level threat at this point, and they even say it in Nowhere Home. And I just lost my
No
train of
way
thought.
home. You said that twice, but continue. Uh,
No Way Home.
yeah. He's nowhere home.
Nowhere Home.
Uh, there's
But
no Avengers level threats, so they're kind of
yeah,
like unnecessary. They're kind of like spread apart.
yeah, and there's a part in that movie, Spider-Man 3, I'll say it that way, happy, where
With
Peter is
Tobey
talking to
Maguire.
the other Peter Parkers and he's like, I was in the Avengers, meaning that the Avengers, Steve Rogers is gone, Iron Man's gone, Vision is gone, Wanda's gone dark side. Like the
Yeah.
Avengers aren't a thing right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't remember how I got to that from what you just said, but I got there.
Oh, because it seems like so. At least for Scott Lang, I'm kind of
Oh yeah, there
projecting.
are no Avengers.
He's doing
Yeah.
this as a doing these things as a way to like keep himself relevant and
Yeah, exactly. That is why yeah,
yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Word. Anyways, this show is great. There is another end credit scene. My theory after these first two episodes that all the end credit scenes are going to be kind of like goofy, funny end credit scenes, probably until the last episode. Because this one is a follow up from Jennifer Walters as She Hulk, but like at her parents' house. Like she went over for like Sunday dinner, and they have a bunch of chores for her to do that involve heavy lifting, like bringing in like all the Culligan jugs of water so that they're inside, mounting a TV, and she's just like doing it with like no effort. And her cousin who is he seems kind of like a stoner, but like they made a point to like congratulate him on being promoted to like the Best Buy manager. Is like, oh, I could have done that. And she's like, it's fine. Like, yeah. And she's just like,
Unscripted. What do you think the very last episode and we did this with Miss Marvel as well. And we were right. But or actually we were wrong because we didn't think that Captain Marvel, we were like, I don't think it's gonna be Captain Marvel. I want it to be Captain
yeah, we
Marvel.
thought it would
And
be
then
Monica,
and then it
but
was Captain Marvel. So what do you think we're gonna do it now? We didn't script this. So what do you think off the top of your head? Do you think the end credit scene will be in the last episode of She-Hulk?
I have two theories.
Okay.
One is that it's going to because they've already brought Emil Blonsky back this early, where I think that's going to be like the main case that she's working on throughout the show.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a teaser or like kind of like hinting towards the Thunderbolts. Like maybe Val shows up again, something like that. Or it's going to lead into Echo and uh, Daredevil Born Again.
Ooh, I think it's gonna be the Thunderbolts. That was gonna
That
be
it
mine.
makes more logical sense, but we know that before the Thunderbolts comes out, we're going to get Echo and Daredevil first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, in Marvel fashion, since we're not quite to the end credit scenes hinting towards the next big bad, not big bag. He's a big bag of bad. That it's gonna kind of be hinting at, the
Yeah.
next step.
I think they've already introduced Titania and Abomination, which are both presumably going to be in the Thunderbolts. So I think that's going to be the end credit.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that they like that Titania is just like a social media influencer that also has superpowers.
Yeah.
And they even used that in the marketing, which I thought was cool. Like her like graffitiing over She-Hulk posters in LA.
Well,
And
and I love that like they made it such a small scene. It was just like, bam, done. But I think it's gonna come back in a big way. I think I think Abomination is gonna be a big part of this season and
mhm.
Titania as well.
Yeah.
And then it'll make sense in the end with the Thunderbolts. I
What
believe.
would be really again still off script, just projecting. I think that even though Titania was in the wrong, like busting into the courthouse, what if she sues Jennifer Walters and that's how we get Matt Murdock in the
I don't think
courtroom?
Matt Murdock would
I don't think he
defend
would either.
Titania. No.
Yep, I
And
jumped the gun on that, and then as
I
I was
think
saying, I was
it's
like, well, "That's wrong." That's
I think it's going to be the opposite way around. Matt Murdock looks out for like people who actually deserve it.
I think
And
he'll be on the defense against
and
Abomination.
right now Jennifer Walters is defending a known bad guy. And I don't buy his whole I'm a changed man bullshit. Not
Yeah.
even a little bit.
No, I think. Yeah.
So I think Matt is going to be on the opposite side of
Yeah.
I want like a fucking like Law and Order kind of like court scene between Matt Murdock and Jennifer Walters. That's what I would love to see. And then like in the
Especially because he's
courtroom,
so good in
like
the
in
courtroom.
oh your
I'm
camera went
still
out.
here. I'm still here. I just bumped it. Sorry.
I want like in the courtroom for them to hate each other, but like on the street be like we have to help each other. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, my
but
camera is all sorts of messed up.
yeah, just stop moving,
I
please.
wasn't touching my desk at all.
But that's what I'm hoping for is
Yeah.
yeah. But who knows? That's just we were just
Yeah.
going off our own thing here.
We'll tell you more next week.
Yeah. Anyways, let's stop talking about this for now until we know more. And we'll jump into sponsor number two.
And
Uh
that is. Huh?
cool. Sponsor number two is Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on fucking everything.
Including your
Let's
Ray's energy drinks.
yeah. Including Ray's energy drinks.
Get them both.
Listen up and we'll tell you a little more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today. All right, everyone. So to continue with the second half of this episode, we're going to talk about not the House of the Dragon. There's no "the" at the beginning, and I say it wrong every time. But we're going to talk about episode 2. Spoiler warning, spoiler alert, boner alert. Maybe? I don't know. There wasn't anything. It was a great episode. I'm just trying to kill time, and I thought I was being funny, and clearly I was not. Sweet. Mahalo.
Especially since like the context of this episode.
Oh, God. Oh,
Yeah.
Can I stop? Can we redo
Nope,
that?
nope, nope. Keep it going.
No. I was not thinking. This episode is actually very concerning for a lot of reasons. Fuck.
Yeah.
Take it away, Jake, I guess.
Holy shit. So this episode is you'll see you guys will see why this is funny in a
It's
little bit
not.
here.
First off, it's not funny. It's funny that
It's
I'm an idiot.
yeah.
Let's.
That's what I meant. That's what
Yeah.
I meant. Uh but this episode is 6 months, takes place 6 months after the events of the first episode where um Jesus Christ gets
Rhaenyra's
named
mom
Rhaenyra.
and
Rha-
baby
well,
brother.
where Rhaenyra gets named heir to the
Yeah.
throne. This is six
Oh,
months after that
right.
scene.
After the death of her mother.
And
as
her
well.
infant brother,
And
what's his face?
Prince Daemon being banished from King's Landing.
Exiled, yeah. I first and foremost, Rhaenyra, this is I know that sometimes Chad and I will complain about females in movies, but
Because they're poorly written by men.
only because we want them to be better. It's not because we're like, oh, this girl is supposed to do this. That's dumb. Like it's only because we want them to be better written and like, like accurate.
I want them
And
to be written as equally well as men.
Yeah. And so far, I realize it's early, but so far, Rhaenyra is a badass.
Yeah.
She's awesome. This is what we want out of a female character
Exactly.
in a show or movie or something like that. Whatever. She's a badass. I'm loving it.
Intelligent,
McDonald's all the way.
not afraid to speak her mind, willing to just fuck shit up
Yeah.
and just show that like she's in charge.
Disobedient, like
Yeah.
to her king / dad.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she's like, fuck the patriarchy.
Yeah.
I have skills that can be used. I'm
Yeah.
going to use them.
There's a scene where she like kind of speaks up because she
In court.
where they show like the council or whatever, and they're sitting around their little table and they're talking about what should we do, and she's like, let's do this, and then somebody shuts her down, and then her dad / the king is like, yeah, get her the fuck out of here, and then
Yeah.
basically later on she's like, fuck this, I'm gonna do my plan. And her plan totally worked. And we could talk about it in a couple minutes. I skipped ahead of a bunch of his shit.
She uses the same. She uses the same tactic that she suggested, but in a different scenario where it would still work, and
Yeah.
it saves lives. And we'll get to
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
We'll get to it. Yeah.
But so she does speak out in court against what all the high lords are talking about, because we now know that the reason that ships are being ransacked, which they kind of only hinted at in the first episode, is because there's like a clan of basically crab people.
Dude,
They call him like the
coolest.
Crab King,
Yeah.
and they are super badass. But
It's Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob.
yeah,
He's all about that
me
money.
money.
No, these people are fucking dope. I love a good bad guy. I do. And these
They are
we've all-
scurvy-ridden
seen, yeah,
pirates.
we've only seen a little bit of them so far, but they are brutal. Just like I don't want to say crucifying because they're not on a cross, but they're just like nailing people to like wood stakes in the ground and like letting them get eaten alive by crabs. It
Yeah.
is diabolical. As Billy Butcher would put it, it's diabolical. I love it. I can't wait to see more of these guys. People, sorry.
Yeah, we don't know anything about them. We don't know who's leading them. We have a picture, but they're like, or not a picture. We see like a glimpse of them. They have like a half mask on. The bottom half of their face is covered in like scabs, basically from scurvy, because they literally are just pirates. Um, but as they're discussing like how to handle this, Lord Corliss, he's the dude with the blonde dreads. He's
Blondie Dread.
Blondie dread.
I only
He
say
is.
Blondie Dread because I don't want it to come off as a asshole thing. It's from Bad Boys too.
Oh,
The Haitians in the when Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are trying to get information on the Haitians that are like selling drugs or whatever. The guy at the shop is like, Blondie Dread, that's gonna cost you a lot of money. And that's when they're like, oh, it's gonna cost us money, and they start busting up his shop or whatever and like
all
breaking
right,
everything.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's why I say that for context. Continue.
And uh, he's also one of the High Lords of Valyrian blood. So it's the Targaryens and the Valyrians from Old Valyria.
Hmm.
Literally, it's Lord Corlys Valyrian is like
Yeah,
his
and
full name.
if you watched Game of Thrones, you know that uh Valerian, whatever,
Yeah,
is one of the two things that can kill White Walkers.
yeah,
Is yeah. So this is
and can really only be
pretty big
forged like
in Valeria.
yeah because of the volcanics and dragons basically.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
but he basically runs the navy for
mm.
the Seven Kingdoms, and his ships keep getting ransacked. So they're trying to figure out, what to do. Rhaenyra steps up and is like, "You have dragon riders. Send the dragons. What better for a show of power with like minimal risk?" And the King Viserys is like, "Maybe you should go with the King's Guard and help pick out
No, it was
a guard."
Otto.
Oh,
Otto
yeah,
shut
you're
her
right.
down.
Yeah, Reese
The
Reese
the
Ifans'
hand
character.
the hand of the king shuts her down and is like blah blah blah. Maybe she should be doing something else. And then her dad, the king, is like, why don't you go show her this or whatever? And
Yeah,
it's just
basically
like,
help pick the a new King's Guard for the
yeah,
king since Daemon Targaryen was banished at the end of the
yeah,
last episode. And what's cool is when she's there, she like flexes her muscles and does not stand down. Like she's interviewing these knights after night, and she turns to the now the new Lord Commander of the King's Guard, uh, McGrath. Is that his name in real life?
I don't know.
Uh,
Big guy with a very gray beard. He's in a
he
lot of things.
he
He
was in The
looks the same.
Witcher as well, but it's like how many of these have actual combat experience? And he like shows the one. She's like, "You got the job," and it's
Yeah,
the guy from the tournament that unseat. Uh,
that bested her uncle.
yeah, that bested
Yeah.
Matthew Smith. That out Matt Smith, because it was Morbin time. Uh, but we also see that the king is still in pretty shitty health.
Well, he's getting worse. Uh,
Yeah,
when they the first episode there was a
like
small herpy on his back. Uh,
that shit
uh,
stays with you for
it's,
life.
it is now his pinky finger is like what
Decaying.
and well part of it too is in the first episode at the end when he's yelling at his brother, he clenches onto the Iron Throne
And cuts himself.
and cuts himself. And now
Oh, yeah, you're right.
in this episode his pinky finger is like rotting away and
Yeah,
they have to like stick his hand in a bucket of maggots to
yeah,
eat like the dead flesh away. And the rest of the episode, you see his pinky is like wrapped up.
yeah,
He's not doing great.
yeah. It's a slow decline because I mean this has been 6 months, so it's not
Yeah.
like the infection is taking over
Mhm.
quickly, but his time is limited.
Yeah.
But also because it has been 6 months, the council, in the court, the hand of the king, Lord Corlys, even Lord Stark, um, who is like the master coin or something like that, is telling him that he needs to remarry because it's his
That's,
duty
yeah.
as king to remarry and produce more heirs to the throne and to kingdoms and to like basically marry them off
Yeah.
to keep the kingdoms united. And
So,
Lord Corlys
yeah.
and his wife, who is actually the king's sister, have this great idea, and by great I mean disgusting and terrible,
Which is why Chad's joke earlier is
was
funny now.
super fucked. Yeah, was to marry off their 12-year-old daughter to someone that is old
Like
enough.
60 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just so wrong.
And it's like a really awkward scene because they're like walking together, him and this like 12-year-old girl. And she's like, they're like just kind of having a conversation. At the end of their conversation, she's basically like, "Sir, like, I will give you like a bunch of kids and, blah, blah, blah. I will be loyal to you and all the," and it's just like, and he's like, "No, this is gross. I can't do
He
this."
even says, "Is like, is that what your father told you to tell me?"
Yeah.
And she just kind of looks at him like she doesn't know how to answer because one, that is what she was told to tell him, but
Yeah.
two, because she's a child and has like, she's innocent. Like there's,
Yeah.
and she's just being like, whored off.
And then there's a kind of like an underlying thing that happens during this episode that'll come to fruition at the end of it, where the king, is having like these secret meetings with,
It
um,
started in the first episode, but we didn't really talk
yeah,
about it last week.
yeah, Rhaenyra's lover slash best friend. We don't really know
They like
exactly
put
yet.
the tension there that they're actually in love,
Yeah,
but like there's no definition there.
yeah,
They're like super close best friends.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, sorry,
But
that sounded also gross because they're like children.
she's
But
Otto's daughter,
yeah, she is
and
the
her
daughter
and
to the hand of the king.
yeah, and her and the king have, Rhaenyra's dad, have been having these like secret meetings.
Because Otto originally set
Yeah,
it up for like
yeah,
go to the king and offer him comfort.
yeah,
Otto is kind of like Littlefinger so far.
yeah. Dude, we said that. Nicole and I said that.
Yeah.
Technically Nicole said it. She was like, he reminds me of what how she phrased it. She said the Littlefinger guy, and I was like, um,
Lord Baelish.
Lord Baelish, yeah,
Yeah.
Peter Baelish. She's like, yeah. She's like, he reminds me of him. Just behind everything, like I agree,
Yeah.
100%, yeah. And anyway, I've been talking. I'm sorry. Go
But
ahead.
the reason that we both or we're all saying that is because he's been sending his daughter to comfort the king. He's found companionship and just someone that like genuinely is there to be kind and care. So when he announces that he is going to take a new wife, Lord Corlys, is all like, yeah, he's going to marry my daughter. We're going to unite the houses of Valyria, show how strong we are. And then King Viserys is like, and I choose Alicent Hightower.
Mm,
And before that actually happens, we kind of skipped a very like good scene of understanding between Rhaenyra and her father, and we also skipped
yeah.
the part where she like shows how big of a badass she is, but we can do that afterwards. But Rhaenyra and her dad have a heart to heart of how much they miss their mom, but they understand that they miss her mom, his wife, but they have the understanding that duty still has to come because he is the king.
From her friend's manipulation.
Yeah,
Remember that
yeah.
whole scene where her friend, who is gonna marry her dad, like is like manipulates
To
her
both
into
of them.
like, yeah,
Both
she
to
is,
Rhaenyra's like sometimes you need to go to him, and then
yeah,
also to
says
the
that to
king.
him, yeah.
Sometimes, if you want to have conversations with her, you have to initiate the conversation.
Lots of Game of Thrones vibes in the sneaky
Oh,
Sneaky shit.
I wonder why
Also,
there's Game of
we
Thrones
did
vibes here,
we
but
didn't say this, and I do want to say this real quick. We did get an official Game of Thrones intro on this episode.
this one was cooler though, because it's
Way
like a
cooler. It's
river
like
of blood.
River of Blood, but it's also running down the same kind of shit where like Game of Thrones would like post up like what house it was and
And
blah blah
the
blah.
specific actors in this episode, if they don't show up in every
Yeah.
episode, sort of thing.
But it's the same song.
Yeah,
The
they just use the
yeah,
same theme,
yeah. Which is
which
cool.
it
The
was cool, but I was a little bummed.
wieners, balls and wieners, balls and wieners. Yeah.
Wiener, 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 dick and balls.
One wiener next to another long wiener, 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 wiener.
I just I like that it was the same song. I wish it would have been like kind of a variation to show that it's
Like slowed
different,
down maybe a little bit or something.
or just kind of slow down different elements, but it was literally just like the exact theme.
I actually really liked it. It brought it back. It brought me back. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Because like in the first episode, like there's a slowed down version. There's kind of like a broken down version that plays at the end. Not the end of the world. Now we're just like arguing
it's
creative
okay.
choices, or not arguing, but nitpicking at it.
I'll kill you.
And my whole family.
Your whole family.
Kill
I'll
your
kill
whole
your whole
family.
family.
But basically,
Blondie Dread is pissed
he's pissed. Rhaenyra's pissed because she like approvingly nods to her father before he announces who his new bride is going to be.
because she thought it was going to be the 12-year-old girl,
Yeah,
not her
Best friend.
lover. Yeah.
yeah, and literally, even her friend is standing across the table from her, looking, kind of proud, but also like staring Rhaenyra down. And the second that her name is announced, like she puts her head down, like because she knows what she did.
Yeah.
She knows what has happened,
Mhm.
and Rhaenyra is just like laser beam into her and then storms off.
Yeah.
Also, we do get some Matt Smith in this because it's always Morbin time. He steals a dragon egg and is also conquered Dragon Stone because he was supposed to go back to the old lands, but instead
No.
goes to Dragonstone and
Not
fortifies
just
himself.
Endly, not just Endly, not
Yeah.
just only a dragon egg. He steals the dragon egg that was meant for Rhaenyra's now deceased infant brother. That's the egg that he chose to steal after in the first episode calling him the prince for a day or the heir for a day
Yeah.
or whatever it was. Then he steals the egg that was supposed to go in their tradition. The dragon egg goes into the crib with the baby so that they grow up together, the dragon and the baby,
Yeah.
and create that bond. And he stole that egg, not
Yeah.
just any dragon egg. He stole that
That
egg.
egg specifically.
Yeah.
And so the Hand of the King and some Kingsguard, they go to Dragonstone, and Dragonstone has not been destroyed yet. It has not been like melted away by dragon fire. So I'm hoping that we get to see that battle in this show. But they go basically to retrieve the egg and basically tell Daemon to fuck off and stop being a little twat. And it looks like there's going to be a battle between the Kingsguard and Daemon and his loyal soldiers, and he's got a dragon on his side.
I was gonna say, then Damon's dragon shows up, and they're like, "Oh man, we're fucked."
Yeah, everyone's gonna die.
Yeah.
And then you hear a second dragon, and it's really cool. Comes in from under the fog, and the cloud pops up, and it's Rhaenyra, and she lands on the side of the Hand of the King and the Kingsguard. She gets off, basically tells her uncle to fuck off, and was like, "You want to do this? You really want to do this? You want to start a war? You want to die?"
It was dope. Literally, not basically. She literally says, "What are you gonna kill me, uncle? Then
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, give me back the dragon egg."
Yeah.
And he kind of throws a temper tantrum, turns away and then like chucks the egg over his shoulder,
Yeah.
and she catches it. Yeah,
This is a good female character. She's
yeah,
so badass.
yeah.
I am so excited for the rest of this show. Oh, what did I bumped my desk? There's my.
Oh God.
We're gonna keep. Oh, there it is. Third time's the charm, I guess. Nope.
Nope.
Jay, keep going. I'm gonna try and make this work.
Sounds good. Well, in the aftermath of um Rhaenyra's dad, the king, marrying her lover slash best friend, it Lord Corlys, who is Blondie Dread that I mentioned earlier, who is pissed about this. Uh, team
This is so
goes
annoying.
to, I mean, that's kind of like the end of the show. They show him talking to someone, and he's like, "Hey, like, this is what's happening. I'm pissed off about this. These crab people are fucking up my ships. Now you and I are both pissed about your brother. Let's team up." So he teams up um, fucking A, what's his name? Daemon
Yeah.
Targaryen. And so now you can kind of, the civil war between the Targaryens is starting to take shape a little bit.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm really excited for it. And I didn't watch the preview for next week. Chad did, but you said there was some stuff.
We're gonna see conflict with the the realms against the crab people. So we're gonna see how fucking terrifying they are in battle, not just after a siege where they are just crucifying and torturing people. I'm excited. This
Me
show
too.
from the first episode exceeded my expectations, and I'm
Same.
loving it 100%.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and
I think it's good.
any final moments about House of the Dragon, Jake?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but yeah.
Just go
No.
watch it.
Yeah. Go watch it. Spoiler alert.
Oh, I did get that in there at the beginning, but
Huzzah!
huzzah!
All right, we are going to close out this episode. But before we do,
Yeah, there's a few things that, I mean, you've heard us talk about before, but I mean, obviously, if you enjoy the show, please like, share, subscribe wherever you listen or watch the podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, share that with friends, whatever it might be. We do also have our Patreon page if you want to support us. It's a great way to help us out on a monthly giving basis. It just you get access to behind the scenes footage, bonus merch, all that good stuff, but it also helps us put out this show just cuz we don't make any money. Everything that happens comes out of our pocket.
yeah, it's just for fun.
Yeah, we're here to do that, but it'd be nice to at least pay our producer.
The more you give, the more we can give. Like the more
Yeah.
you guys pour into, like the more you guys give us, the bigger, better shit we can do with this podcast.
Yeah.
We've already had some way, way out of our league guests on this show,
And we've done some
which,
pretty cool giveaways too.
yeah. And if you guys give us, give back, we can do more with that
We
and
can,
give you guys
give it
better
back.
guests. Yeah,
Just give it back.
give back. Just give it back.
If that's not something that you're in the position to do or just don't feel like doing, but you want to help in some other way, we do also have our web store. It's at allthingsnerdpodcast.com. We do make a little bit off of our merch, and then that goes right back into the podcast. So if
Yeah.
you don't want to do a monthly thing, there's that.
Also, if you don't want to give money, just like and share.
Yeah,
I mean,
that helps the most. That gets
Yeah.
more eyes on it.
Mhm.
It helps us spread our love of nerd and drinking to other people. We just want to be inclusive. Everyone's welcome. So, with that being said, Uh-huh.
I don't have a beer. I gotta wait till it
Oh,
thaws
you
out.
fucked up. That's fine. Uh, we do love you guys, and thank you so much for tuning in week after week. It really does mean a lot to us.
Yeah.
We enjoy it a lot. Jake, the honor is yours.
This has been the All Things Nerd Podcast.
Podcast.